Okay, Mongoose Jake here to open up my series on Busby Classics. Now this is where we're going to take a look through Busby's history and see some of the key blasters that at least caught my eye and I think offer something that's worth talking about in these videos. These aren't going to be huge length videos. These are going to be a little more moderate size compared to my normal fare. Now, it's not going to necessarily cover every single Busby blaster. Originally, that was kind of my goal, was to catch everything, but that's nearly impossible to do the moment you take a look into Busby's history. And in this video here, I'm not going to go over the entirety of every detail of their history, but it's just going to be a quick overview of what you can expect from these videos going forward. And there's going to be a lot of them, like probably at least one a week for the foreseeable future until we reach 2020-21 blasters. And starting out, of course, those of you who don't know, Busby is, of course, my favorite company when it comes to blasters. And they started out in 2003 by some employees. There's Whiskers chiming in. But they were actually started by some employees of Laramie bases who left and wanted to go out on their own. And in 2003, they introduced a few blasters with basically value being the main thing. You know, low price point, worked well. You know, nothing hugely, groundbreaking, but they offered some good stuff, basically good stuff cheap, to catch some people. And they were almost like basically your normal generic off-brand at the time. And they looked a little bit better and performed a little better than some of the cheapo off-brand stuff. But, compared to Nerf, Busby, brand new company, nobody had ever heard of them. But the thing is, the employees who had founded the company, they actually had knowledge and previous experience. So it wasn't like you were just getting this brand new startup company that had never done anything before. And they took that, made some neat little funky blasters, and then made some kind of nice, useful ones. And through the years, they went, they developed the shell firing mechanisms really quick. Like my first ever Busby blaster was a 2004 double shot. Double barrel shotgun. You load the shells with the darts, put the shells into the blaster, close it up, fire it. Dual stage trigger and all. And compared to Nerf's offerings of the time, like the barrel break, the double shot actually outperformed the barrel break, and it had the shell ejecting, which was cool. Who cares if it's practical or not? It was cool. And they actually made more blasters with the shells and then kept going on. To the point where we're going to fast forward from the neat, unique, kind of funky, silly even, and goofy at times stuff that, things like the Mech 6, the Clip Tech, the Mustang 6, the Rapid Fire Tech up here. Some of those are really neat. Not necessarily the highest performance. You jump forward way into more recent times, about 2013-14, they got serious. And I mean like real serious. They were the first real competitor to Nerf. They revamped their line, and all of a sudden you had blasters coming out like the Reaper, the Champion, the Sentinel, the Brute, the Snipe, and even the Predator, which had been around for a few years. It got reworked into something that, it's still a single shot bolt action, but even its performance was on par with Nerf's offerings, and still, true to their roots from all the way back in 2003, we fast forwarded over a decade, they were still a much better value. So you take, now they're serious, and they were the first who actually started to take it serious, and they went full cross compatibility. They redid their darts. They went away from the old suction cup darts. They introduced, their newer darts, and their magazines were reworked because they never really had a whole lot of standardized anything. Like, the Hawk magazine will work in the Rapid Fire Tech and vice versa, but that's about it. Like, nothing from Nerf was going to work with that, and that was definitely not going to work in anything from Nerf. But those few years there that they started, the Champion was better than the Retaliator. No, it didn't have any attachment points. The Reaper was better than the Retaliator. And they were meeting that on Nerf's terms while selling these blasters. Like, Retaliator was $25 retail. When the Champion and Reaper were brand new, they actually offered higher performance at almost half the price. Like, you can find Reapers and Champions for under $15. No attachment points, but like the Reaper was a very cool design. The Champion's a very nice design with a good grip and good performance straight out of the box. And their internals all of a sudden were better for modding than Nerfs. Like, you could get more without having to put in a whole lot of money and not even a whole lot of time or effort. And of course, those of you who are at least, somewhat fans of Busby, saying Brute, Snipe, or of course the big one, the Sentinel, you guys know what those are. Those are now like iconic blasters in the blaster hobby. The Sentinel is like so sought after that people are paying quadruple to 5 times what the original retail price was. That blaster literally put the Slingfire to shame. And did so at a comparable price or cheaper when they were sold on the shelves side by side. And so you went from Busby starting in 2003 to a little over 10 years later. I'm pointing here towards the Champion because that's kind of the mark of where they got serious. And now, something like the Revolution that's being sold currently, that continues on what the Champion was. The Revolution today does exactly what you would expect. It's a mag-fed, top prime Springer, just like the Retaliator was, just like the Recon Mark II, or now the Delta Trooper. But it has higher power, and it's only $10. And easy to mod. So Busby has a nice history of going from, basic starts, going through a whole bunch of things behind me, all the way to these, ultimate systems. And they've created a company that can be goofy and silly at times. Even impractical. If you're going to be serious about Nerf. Like Make Test Battle says, it's serious business. But no, they can go and still do silly and goofy things. The Battle Blazer. And they still have the shells. The double shot is still being made. It was made first in 2004. It's still being made in 2021. You have to find it on the Walking Dead series. It's on the shelf at Dollar Generals. But now it's still only $15. Keep that in mind. How many other blasters are still around from 2004? But that's Busby. Good value. Sometimes silly, sometimes goofy, sometimes completely impractical. But then other times, they have this side to them where they got serious. And they literally made the best full-length dart that's ever been made in the Precise Pro. I actually got to speak to the creator of these. He's actually an older gentleman who's a machinist by trade in North Carolina. And he invented these because he thought that Nerf darts were junk. Basically, he thought he could do better. So he went out and in his design program, he sat down and tested aerodynamic properties. And it turns out he made the best full-length dart that's ever been made. And no, I don't have an answer for why Busby doesn't still sell these. Yeah, I have packages. I'm a collector for Busby stuff, so yeah, I've just bought up the last few packages that I've seen available online and put them on my retail display over here. But that's kind of the idea of what you're going to expect from these videos. Kind of a off-the-cuff chit-chat about something I think. And this one will probably be the longest one of the bunch. But this is the Busby Classic series of video episodes that you can expect to see coming up, at least on a weekly, if not more often basis. Smugger's Jake saying thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this.